Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here. And today I didn't have time to live stream, so I pre-recorded my Grand Arena. I did want to, since it's the last 5v5, I didn't want to not show you guys what happened. So I did pre-record it on my phone, and now I'm just going to go over the matches as it goes. I do apologize I wasn't able to show you their front wall in the beginning, just because I didn't record it, and I forgot to, since I was playing really quickly at lunch during my break. So let's jump into it. So he does out GP me by 1.7 million. He has 1.5 million more in character GP. He has more ship GP than me, but that could be a little deceptive as we go down. So I do have a I wouldn't even say I have a mod advantage. At this point, it's very negligible. He does have double my 6 dots. I have more. 25 speed mods, less of all the other ones. So not the biggest deal in the world. He does have about 200 more relics than me. He has a lot more datacrons than I do. And he has 4 more GLs than me, which is pretty par for the course. I'm quite used to this. Not the biggest of deals. I would love some 4 more GLs, but just not in the books for me right now. He does have all his conquest characters up and running. And then this is what I was saying, the ship GP was a little deceptive because I do have, as far as like GLs, just better ships. He probably has more relic levels on all his pilots, but I just have a fleet advantage here. He does not fleet very well. So I have the Leviathan, he doesn't. We have the same stars for Profundity, and then I have a 7-star Executor where he only has a 6-star. So I do have the advantage at fleets. So let's see how this is going to go, because I'll say this, this was the toughest Grand Arena I've had in a very, very, very long, maybe ever. Like the front wall was absolutely killer. I did not think I was going to get through this at all. I honestly thought I would probably just do like 1 or 2 attacks and just like call it quits, because looking at the front wall. But it was a killer match. So let's jump into the actual battles. What I was saying, why I thought the first one was going to be a killer, is this was a JMK with Cat with Padmecron. The only thing in my account that even has a shot of beating this is Bane and Malgus. Like, this was literally the only thing I could do. At this point, my thought process was I was gonna try to keep them ability, like their cooldowns increased, and try to work down Cat as much as possible. The reason why this is so useful is the fear as well. Fear helps with cooldowns. As you can see, he just reduced Cat's cooldowns, and if this was normally without Malgus, there's nothing I could do here, because they would have she would have her insta kill up. But the fact that I had fear available and then she was feared again, now she has she doesn't have her insta kill ready. So it's little things like that that makes this a possible counter. And the longer I juice up my my Bane, the better this will be. But there is a kind of weirdness here where if I can't kill Cat in time and my Bane dies, then she can insta kill my my Bane. Or if Malik dies before, due to like the health damage that Bane does, before Commander Ahsoka gets her insta-kill off, then I'm in trouble, because then a pretty good chance she's just going to insta-kill Bane. So luckily, I was able to kill her before she can get that insta-kill off. And that opens up a door to winning now, because right now, his health is super juiced up. They don't have any way to pretty much get through his health. So at this point, it's pretty much a win. So I was very happy with that, and I just insta-yeeted them with that 75 banners. Really happy with that. All right, so I do want to pause this for a second and talk about this fight real quick. So on the front wall there was there's a Jabba, there's a Lord Vader, there's Inquisitors, there's a Rey with Holdocron, there was a JMK with Padmecron and Cat. So, like looking at my options, I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I had to. Oh, also there. Yeah. So I couldn't use Malgus for this counter. Even though Malgus isn't super reliable with since they have the third sister cron with the good level 6, since they didn't have that, or since I had to use Malik for the Bane for JMK, that took away the Malgus counter for third sister, because you absolutely need Malik for that counter. So I was like, what am I going to do here? Am I going to SLKR? Because SLKR isn't 100%. I use third sister all the time to kill JMKs, especially with even, or I'm sorry, all the time to kill kill SLKRs, even with SLKR cron. Like, it absolutely controls it, stomps through it. It's a walk in the park. Maybe with decent RNG, like if I get crit hit or if I get invulnerability on Kylo Ren crew in the first round and he can survive a few hits, then I can get like the poke swipe out, and maybe I could win. But it's like it's a gamble, like 100% a gamble. That counter can lose. And it's only like at most a 60% win. So I was thinking, like, what am I gonna do? I have to have my Ray for the Holdocron, for the mirror. But I thought about it and I was like, well, if I can take JMK and go for or take Bane and go for JMK, and if I win that risky matchup, then I just have to deal with this third sister. And if I can win this risky matchup, then at that point it opens up possibilities of like normal counters or things I can do. So that's why I decided I was going to use Ray here for third sister, because I thought if I play hide the Holdo and they can't get through her, get down and injure her health, because if I put lifeblood on her, then there's a good chance that I can survive long enough to win this fight. It's not. I felt like this was a little safer than SLKR. But as you can see here, they went first. They went after JTR. She's in damage immunity. I do instantly have my whirlwind. My thought process here, because it did take me a few seconds to decide what was I going to do here. I decided if I whirlwind and third sister was probably survive because she's full health, then the rest of my team is really in danger here. And if they take a bunch of turns and they go directly for Holdo, maybe they can work through her protection up and then damage her health. And at that point, my entire team is in danger, because the linchpin, the deciding factor of if I'm going to beat this is or not, because you saw how fast they got, like, just almost instant deleted JTR, is the fact that they cannot kill a single resistance character until all of their health breaks 100%. So Holdo, they have to get through her and her massive health pool or her massive protection up pool, and that's the strategy here. So I thought, like, I need to start doing damage here. I need a whirlwind, but I thought, you know what? Let's lifeblood and let's see how this plays out. All right, so I'm just thinking here. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then I decide I need to get the protection up. I can't risk it. So I did, and as you can see, they're going for Holdo. So if I would have whirlwind there, there's worlds where she could have possibly got burnt down, and then that puts me at risk of dying here, because even if Ben dies which he just did, and as you can see, everyone else is not looking good. Like, they're not. And the only thing keeping me here running is Holdo, and even though Holdo is like holding it down, it's really like, if they burn her down, if the second her health creeps down below 100%, all of this fails. So at this point, I'm going to put healing immunity on third sister. I'm going to hope for like maybe a lucky whirlwind here if I take her out. As long as I take her or Grand Inquisitor out, I thought, then this is 100% clean upable. And at this point, I was just like, I'm not sure, because like, look at this. This is messy, absolutely messy, 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 messy. So I did put ability block out there. And you can see, like, my shield is going down. My shield is going down. And at this point, I'm like a little worried But luckily I got to my ult, so I'm like, okay, let me just let me throw this down here because I can't put protection up because my raid doesn't have any health, and Holdo is holding on a prey. But luckily Holdocron is giving me some more protection up. They can't do any damage even though they have death mark out here. And she's getting that protection up back. But as you can see, this is a risky match, and I was super worried about it. This is absolutely like a nail biter right here. I was like, I don't even know if I'm just gonna like time out because they take a ton of turns. Are they just gonna like do massive damage to Holdo? Because the second she goes, like that health just creeps down to 99%, the whole team is dead. And I was hoping for a stronger ult here. And at this point, I was just like, oh man, I am in trouble. I'm in trouble. So I'm hoping, okay, I got to a whirlwind and Yeetus deletus, all is right in the world. Super messy, but we got through it, guys. We got through it. So a risky matchup, 59 banners, but solid. At this point, I'm gonna go SLKR Cron against Holdocron. This was my thought because SLKR I don't think would have been able to beat Reva Cron. Maybe not. It would have been a lot riskier. But at this point, this is way safer. Like Holdo survives by not having your damage done, and then SLKR just does like absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage. So I was like, okay, let me just go with this. This is a much more guaranteed fight. And pretty much, if it wasn't for the damage immunity, it would have been a poke swipe over. All right, so I do have better mods, so I outsped their Mara Jade by like 40 speed or something. So I decided to go with against the mirror match here. I don't have anything else. If I would have needed, because if something would have failed, I probably would have had to clean up with Starkiller. I would have had to use Watt Imperial Troopers because they're so slow. My Imperial Troopers can get up to like the 400 speeds, and I would have sped this, and that was my backup plan, was just to Imperial Trooper this. But luckily I was able to just mirror it. It's perfect banners. They don't even take a turn. It's really easy. Sometimes they Starkiller like counterattacks, which is not a big deal if that does happen. But yep, there you go. So I was able to pull it out of the sky here, take it down to 1 times X, and I thought this was going to just kill him, but old Ben is a little stubborn here, so it only did 100k damage, but it only hurt his protection, so I was pretty surprised. But next hit he goes down, perfect banners. Pretty happy with this match. Alright, so this is a Lord Vader. Luckily for this Lord Vader, they didn't have Maul on it for some reason. Maybe they figured their premium defenses were JMK and I just wasn't going to be able to get through it. But right away, my first thought process was I'm going to take out Thrawn, and then the next one I want to take out is Vader. So I do try to get that. I think like Vader heals a lot with all these dots. I do have to control Lord Vader, so I ability blocked him. Now I'm going to increase his cooldowns. This is how you beat Lord Vader, and why I say it's important to have 550 speed on JML and as much potency as you can. It's because fights like this where I'm getting ahead of him, I'm controlling him, I increase his cooldown, I'm ability blocking him, so he's not able to, because like if you let him run rampant, he just like ults really quick and then he ramps his damage and you die. So I wasn't able to get to Vader in time. I'm just gonna have to work through these the 2 tanks here. It's just not a big deal, and I do have a bunch of health on Jedi Knight Revan, so he does die a little quicker than everyone else. It is a little annoying, but sometimes that's just sometimes that's how it is. This is why I do like why I like Shock T here, because it's another cleanse. So I have a cleanse with Jedi Knight Revan, and then I have a cleanse with Shock T, and it does make it a lot easier to keep the dots down and then just keep the good times rolling. And it's, instead of stunning there, I did decide to take out Darth Vader just before he can do his merciless massacre. I'm gonna go all in on this Royal Guard, try to take him out before Lord Vader can ult, because he's at ult. I don't think I'm going to be able to kill him before I can get through. And at this point, this is pretty messy banners, but I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get through. I'm just going to try to do my best to keep this as clean as possible. But this Vader is just like so thick. He's R9. R9 Vaders like and he's modded for survivability, and they just survive really well. And as you can see here, like my Shock T is dying, my Revan's dying, and sometimes you can time out. Like if you do have your team just not be able to clear him fast enough, if he gets thick and starts like deleting people. But luckily at this point, they're holding pretty fine. I'm going to try to just like do as many assists as I can with Hoda to try to, one, heal, and then two, push turn meter once I take all these dots off everyone. But as you can see here, like she's living on a prayer right there. So I'm doing everything I can with Hoda to like try to keep them alive. And then boom, he's dead. So luckily, 57 banners, which is really messy. This is the back wall. So we have an Iden, we have a Nightsisters, and we have a Mon Mothma. So the front walls were really, really difficult. So here we have the front wall. So it was Jabba, Malgus, Quigon, and the third sister. So for Jabba, since I don't have SLKR because I needed it to beat the Rey, I decided to go Reva here. Reva here is really good for beating Jabba. Like with her cron, she absolutely like walks through Jabba, as you can see. So I walked through this really, really easily. Really happy that I was able to figure out a pathway that allowed me to get the clear here, because at this point it's just I'm going to get the full clear. I'm fairly confident in it, just because the two fights that I was worried about was third sister absolutely could have blocked me, and then especially if the first fights didn't win, then it kind of has like a cascading effect. So I was going to, but JMK was honestly my biggest worry. Like if I didn't get Padme or Cat out there, like I had absolutely no shot of beating that JMK. So if Bane just lost, like if somehow he just got yeetus deletus by Cat, then this Grand Arena would have been over right when it started. I did go with Greedo here, not for any reason particular, other than I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do on the back wall. And I did know that there was Nightsisters there, so I thought, well, I would like to have Boba in a bounty hunter team if I decided to use bounty hunters on those Nightsisters, just because he can absolutely just delete someone with his rockets. So that's why I went with Greedo here. This generally isn't a danger. Like I'm pretty sure, not with fives, but in threes, I think Jabba can solo this, just because he just like uses a bunch of basics, and then he just like eats everyone. So I'm 99.9999% certain this is a really, really smooth match. So I do kind of, at first I just build my ult on Malgus. Once I get ult, then I just kill Bastila. And I'm also, if you notice, I did save my my AoE on Bush for a while until I built up those thermal detonators, and then I set it off to kill Revan. Otherwise, if I used it in the beginning, it just doesn't do enough damage. It takes too long to kind of like circle to her turns. I do kill Malik first, because out of the two, between Malik and Malgus, I do think Malik is the greater threat with his drain, because I can blind Malgus, and if you blind Malgus, he misses his dunk. Like he'll still hit his basic, but he absolutely misses the dunk. And even if he does do the dunk, it doesn't do as much damage as taking a whole 100% health damage. So it's a lot easier to control Malgus than it is Malik. And then also Malik gets fed turns if you bring him down past health thresholds, and just overall much easier to do it with. And then I'm not getting fear every time I hit Malgus the same way that I was hitting Malik. So I didn't do it right away. I was trying to cycle through and try to get Doubt off, but then I ended up getting Doubt anyways, and he attacked Greedo, so I ended up not recovering these banners anyways. And at this point I just got a little bored of it, so I just ate him, and I was willing to lose the one banner on Greedo. It wasn't a big deal. Alright, so for this one, for Quigon, I decided to go for CLS. It's pretty reliable. Like, if you do it wrong, then absolutely you can lose. I almost attacked here. It would have been a loss. I would have got yeeted. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, like, Anakin's not stunned. So I was like, okay, well, let me just, like, keep attacking Anakin, I guess, and working around this stuff so I don't accidentally kill him. So they did have, I wasn't too worried because Qui-Gon did have, there you go. And now I'm gonna blind everyone, kill him, and then everyone's gonna miss because everyone was blinded there. Kill Anakin, same thing, just gonna go all in on Mace, gonna kill him, and then same thing, all blinded. So pretty lucky that everything worked out pretty well once I got that blind. Didn't even have to go for the stuns and just had a super clean win here. So sometimes this can go wrong, but luckily this went pretty well. No real worries here. So for this one, not a big deal. It's just Wampa doing Wampa things. So the big thing with this one is not to get timed out with Cara Dune, because if you ramp her up and then you just like keep killing her, she never loses her potency up, and then you just like time out. So there is a timeout threat. The big thing is to try to, once you are pretty much strong enough to just one-shot her, is to use your howls, and then also the other guy, the summon, to try to not get the attacks going. So but other than that, like, this really wasn't a hard fight. So I really don't want to sit here and talk about Wampa all that much, so let's just jump ahead and to the end of this fight, because it gets real boring. Alright, so here's the end, 68 banners. Alright, so for this Iden team, it is a weird Iden. It has Piet in there, it has Veers in there. Honestly, it messes me up more than if they didn't, because it like, the team dies too quick. So without the revives, without I'm probably not going to be able to get to ult here, and then I'm not going to be able to recover the banners lost. So I do lose some banners here because they just drop a bunch of AoEs, and it's really annoying. So maybe I should have used Wampa here or something, and that could have saved me some banners. But I did end up losing, I think it was like 3 banners here. 3 banners. Not very happy with that. All right, so for Nightsisters, I did end up using Sith. I thought bounty hunters would be good, but there's a world where it takes too long to get it going, and so I decided, okay, I did kind of do this in the wrong order, and that messed it up. Like, Daka did get some revives out here, and I did misplay this a little bit. So if I wasn't expecting Vader to just like start instantly yeeting people, it really wasn't that big of a deal, because they're all relics too, but clean anyways. Still 65 banners, but a little bit of a misplay there. All right, so here's this back. So he has Executor, Profundity, and then the Chimaera, which means if he tries to play and attack my fleets, he's really in trouble, because he really can't get through them, especially since he put his premium fleets on defense. All right, so for here, I'm just going to do the Executor match. So I didn't get any dodges there. I thought about healing here, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to take out the TIE Defender, because that's important. I'm going to stun the Houndstooth, and then I'm going to start working on the sides. So yeah, I got 1 dodge there, but unfortunately it died. Ripped off everyone's buffs, and then I'm gonna start Yeetus, Deletus, all these the Cad Bane with Defender here. So good. Yep. And then I'm like, okay, let me just like delete Houndstooth. Yes, please. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, let me try to get some of these banners back, because everyone's like a little messed up here. But I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that. I still brought out the TIE Interceptor just because it's a good ship. There's a lot of foresight there, so it can feed some turn meter. But this like everything's just dying way too quick. As far as this fleet, it's a really strong fleet. So I'm trying to slow down so I can get to ult, so I can recover at least like 2 banners. But it looks like I'm probably not going to get there because this guy is just dying way too quick. And there you go. Really simple fight. The Chimaera versus Executor is really easy. All right, so Profundity, I decided to do the Profundity Mirror. It's really, I think, the most safe because I'm just going to use the TIE Bomber to put Burning on them for 2 turns. And then, like, I honestly didn't even need it because I got really lucky with the assist here and I, like, just burned through their tank. So now they're wide open for business and I have my tank, so, and they don't. So even if I didn't have the bomber at this point, it's pretty much like a win. So that lucky RNG, I guess, but the Profundity versus the Profundity match is always really solid. Really easy, especially if you have the TIE Bomber. So that's why I decided to do that. Otherwise, I would have to use like the Malevolence with TIE Bomber. And honestly, this is why I farmed the Profundity, is for matches like this where they throw Executor and Profundity on defense. Then I have a reliable Executor counter. I have a reliable Leviathan counter, but I was lacking a Profundity counter, and that's why I was like, okay, let me just take the Profundity on offense, and I don't have to worry about it, and I can just mirror. So for here, they did get 2 quick reinforcements, but I was able to get burning on them too, and I'm just going to be able to like burn through them. I still bring out my reinforcements just to make this quicker. I don't want some shenanigans going down just because my ult charge is like really low for whatever reason. I guess I'm just not getting assists. As you can see, I'm like 45. So as far as like who's going to get the ult, like we're both crawling to it. So my thought process was, okay, I'm just going to try to kill all of them without needing the ult, just because it's going by so ridiculously slow at this point. But like it's going well, so I'm not too concerned with it. And they have 1 Millennium Falcon. I have a whole fleet, so even if I did have to like try to get to ult, I think I would have been fine. So 68 banners, lost 2 banners just because I'm 5 stars too. So I lost out on 6 banners just from that. All right, so for the Chimaera, I do like the Malevolence, and for this I do the AoE first. The reason is I'm not going to put Overcharged out there because the Scythe is going to rip all buffs off of us, and if I put Overcharged and I start doing specials, then Overcharged starts spreading, and then they rip all those buffs off, and then they get more stacks of Reinforce. So as you can see, they only got like not as many stacks of Reinforce, only 7. So not as big of a deal. So this is really annoying that they have the Pulp Mobile out here, because whenever you crit, they heal some or get protection up. I still get the mass assist on the Scythe, take it out, and the juicy damage with Buzz Droids, I'm able to still push through and hit under protection with the Buzz Droids damage. So they all go down pretty quickly. Now I can do Overcharge, put 3 stacks out there, or I got 4 now. So that's why they're hitting so ridiculously hard, and then I beat this. So all in all, like, pretty clean. I honestly thought I was gonna have a lot of trouble out here. So let's show you the board, and then I'll go over real quick what their defenses were, just laid out for you to see how it was. All right, so this is the final score, 18-18. I don't think my opponent's going to attack, to be completely honest with you. And even if they did, they don't have an answer for the Executor and the Leviathan. So I would say it's safe to assume that I'm going to win. I'll let you know, because I'm going to release this before Grand Arena ends, but pretty safe bet that I did win this one. So when I said the front row, and here, let's change the screen here for you. So when I said this front row was really difficult, I really did mean it. So as you can see, there's a Lord Vader here. There's a JMK, there's a Rey, there's a Star Killer. They all have really good datacrons, honestly, like decent datacrons for top end datacrons, like good datacrons overall. Level 9s, level 8s. So there was Jabba, Qui-Gon, third sister Malgus. So this was a difficult match, and even though I one shot the board and beat it cleanly, and then the back wasn't anything special. I wasn't too worried about the back. Honestly, the back he needs to rework. But these fleets, for me, not difficult. Maybe some players, if they don't have a reliable Executor, Profundity, and then Chimaera's like, okay, so. But all in all, I beat it cleanly. I don't think he's going to win. But when I looked at this front wall, I legitimately was just like, I don't think I can get through this JMK. Luckily, my Bane worked out. There's worlds where 100% like that I could lose. Like there 100 like absolutely. I could have lost this entire match if that one match failed. Luckily, it pulled through for me, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to secure the win for this last 5v5. If you want to know after Grand Arena ends, hit me up in the comments. Otherwise, let me know how you thought I did. Is there anything I could have done better? I felt like this was a good Grand Arena, but and fun overall. But I think that every Grand Arena I play, I try to learn a little something. So thanks for watching. If you like this content, like and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys next time. Take care.